What's happening, everybody? What's going on? Welcome back to my bullshit, huh? How you like this new Freightliner Cascadia setup, man? I can't say much more about it. I fucking like it. Got me a big ass table. It's even better than the Kenworth T680s. You know, as truckers, we fucking get blamed for so much bullshit. Nitpicking, right? And ever since they started kind of holding the trucking companies more liable for shit, you know, because back in the day, it's a true thing, the trucking companies weren't held as liable. So, like, when a driver fucked up, they could just kind of be like, we got rid of him, you know, and they would just get ready and get another driver in there. They were still held a little bit, but it wasn't that none of that nuclear fucking $40 million lawsuit verdict shit that's going on now, which I do agree did need to happen a little bit to chill the trucking companies out and make them care about their equipment, you know what I'm saying? So that with the PSP and the liability and all that, the trucking companies are wanting to run better equipment because they don't want to be in deep shit. And back in the day, they were just like, oh, fuck it, run it, you know, and it fell on you, right? So that is a good thing that they are held more liable, but with that happening, it's making the trucking companies nitpick the fuck out of us, right?
I just wanted to add in here real quick. A few videos back, I made a video on one way to research companies before you hire in using that Safer Web website. And Rick Simon posted a comment on that I found to be interesting. If you go up to the right-hand corner on that website and click on SMS results, it actually gives you a list of all the tickets and violations the drivers are getting.
I didn't know about it, so I appreciate you saying something about it. That is pretty cool. You can go up there and you can click on that. It shows all the actual violations. So, a lot of different reasons, but for me, it was kind of interesting to go through there and see what the other truck drivers were doing here at this company. And then my head went and swelled up because I was like, I don't do that dumb shit. I mean, there's a bunch of seatbelt tickets and fucking cell phone holding tickets and just kind of dumb shit that really you shouldn't do. But it's interesting. So, yeah, check that out. The SMS up in the right-hand corner. Now, as far as us getting blamed for everything, it's fucking crazy how this works. Check out these numbers. In 2019, you have 5,082 truck crashes that involved a truck with a fatality, right? All right. Now, in 2019, all the fatalities combined together in vehicles comes out to 36,355. Go to 2020, 4,988 fatalities involving a truck. All the crashes together, 38,824. 2021, 5,701 fatalities involving a truck. 42,939 fatalities altogether. 2022, 5,230 fatalities involving a truck. 42,795 fatalities altogether.
All right, with all that said, let's look at the actual numbers here. Out of all the accidents involving a semi that are fatal, only 19% are the fault of the truck driver. That leaves 81% not the fault of the truck driver. So look at the numbers. 2019, 5,082. That's 965 accidents that are the fault of the truck driver involving a fatality. 4,117, not the fault of a truck driver. 2020, 4,988, 947 the fault of the truck driver, 4,041 not the fault of the truck driver. 2021, 5,701 accidents, 1,083 the fault of the truck driver, 4,618 not the fault of the truck driver. 2022, 5,230, 993 the fault of the truck driver, 4,237 not the fault of the truck driver. Those are not bad odds, really, if you stop and think about it. There's 3.5 million trucks on the road. In 2019, that gives you a number of 3,499,035 trucks that were not involved in a fatal accident.
That is a lot of fucking truck drivers that are doing a damn good job. You know, I gotta tell you, the waitresses, man, they're underrated. They got skills. You ever see them, they walk out, they got like a plate in one hand, a plate in the other hand, and they're balancing a plate on their forearm and shit. No way, man. Dude, I don't even know if I could walk out with a plate in each hand without fucking that up. That's some skills. And I was sitting in there at the little trucker bar deal, listening to the truck drivers. I'll tell you what, man, sometimes what I want to do is, like, I wish I could set my camera on a tripod and just record the whole thing so I could sit on YouTube and just pick it and make fun of everybody, but that probably wouldn't slide. So listening to, like, these young dudes, man, I mean, fuck, they can't be late 20s. Oh, goddamn ELDs fucking everything up and all this shit, right? Ah, damn, I'm so tired of that. Get with it, man. I'm not trying to offend any new young subscribers, because I know some of y'all are watching my channel to kind of learn about trucking and shit and other people's channels, and that's smart, you know. Do research, so you know if you want to do it, and so you know how it works, and, you know, maybe learn from us or what we got fucked over on, so you don't have to get fucked over on and shit like that. Smart. But motherfucker, you're sitting there saying ELDs are fucking your shit up. You ain't even know what it was like to not have ELDs, man. You ain't even been driving truck long enough to even fucking know. Are ELDs a little bit of a pain in the ass? They can be sometimes. I will agree with that. Certain times, man, you're like, fuck, I'm running out of hours. Maybe you're just wide awake and you want to keep rolling, whatever the reason be, right? And it does suck. I get it. But it also really depends on the company that you're working for, man. Like, if your company can't arrange the freight and keep you paid and keep themselves paid, the bottom line for these trucking companies is to get fucking paid. So when they get paid, you get paid, right? That's the whole deal. They try to make it look like they're getting you miles. They're getting themselves miles, man. They're the ones that are fucking trying to get paid too, you know. But if they can't arrange their freight and all that shit around the ELD law, bounce, bro. Like I do, bounce. They should be able to do it by now. These things have been around so long. The shippers and receivers have changed their ways, you know. Believe it or not, the shippers and receivers have gotten a lot fucking better. They used to leave us on detention all the time because they just knew. It didn't matter. You know, it wouldn't be the shipper or anything like that that would be eating a late load, or even the trucking company. It'd be the driver. Because you sat at that dock for 5 hours, and then now all of a sudden you're going to be 5 hours late, say, or whatever. It wasn't like they just said, oh, okay, take it in there late. They were like, no, get that fucker there, make it happen. So you ate that 5 hours. You get what I'm saying? You just fucking roll through the night and get the fucker there because you're on paper. That's all it was. And they would plan the loads that way. You know, the dispatchers would plan it knowing you were on paper, man. It was all fucked. So yeah, they got their downfalls. But if you're in with the right company, I've had several. Even some of the companies that I quit, that I didn't stay working at, most of them really, it wasn't because they weren't running their freight according to the ELD law book. I mean, I was getting miles. Like, let's say the last place I worked, I was getting paid. You know, I was actually making as much as I make here. But the truck was a piece of fucking dog shit, like literally. And the people were rude and condescending and just gross. And that's, if you look, I'm gonna do a video on that. That is the #1 reason truck drivers quit their jobs. And that's what it was at that last place. The truck, and then that. But they ran their shit. Same thing before that, you know, that salary job. I mean, the loads were on. I was always loading. It was running fine with the ELDs and all that. They just fucked around on their salary. They were scammers, you know. The one before that, yeah, they weren't giving me miles, but that was because they were making me stay home again after I already did a 34-hour restart. If they'd have pulled their head straight up out of their asshole, like I told them, like I told the owner, I don't do a restart on the way back from California and then drive a day and a half back here to Michigan and do another motherfucking restart. Like, why would you do that? That is this trucking 101 stupid, man. I come back here and I reload and I go again. I mean, I ain't one of the motherfuckers that got to be home for the weekend. You know, I want to go, and I was telling them that I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. And they wouldn't listen, so I was like, I'm gone. I'm out of here. Fucking see you later. And they're like, what? Duh, I gotta get paid, dude. That's why I'm out here. Right? That's why we're out here. It ain't because we like chilling in the fucking truck. Although I gotta say, this is a pretty sweet fucking setup right here, right? I like this for this table and shit, man. At first, in my last video, remember in the beginning of the video, I was like, man, I don't know about this shit. Fucked up on my storage and stuff. Oh, I've been using the hell out of this. I got it down pat, man. Right now I got my laptop and everything all set out here. My cigarettes are good and healthy for me. Monster, it's all good and healthy for me. All that good shit. You should see the camera stand. I definitely got to get in the storage unit and fucking dig out my camera stand. Right now I got my phone alien taped to my fucking spit jug. Cause that's how we roll, man. It took me a minute to figure that one out. But yeah, man, the ELDs, they ain't all that bad, bro. You just gotta find a company that knows how to run that shit. Yep. You know, when I was out doing my road test shit with the safety guy, you know, it's always cool to get with those guys, especially this guy who was younger and I've known him for quite a while, so he like tells me, I don't get to see what's going on, you know, with the drivers and all that shit. And I don't know. So he's like telling me this dumb shit that people do and all that. I'm not gonna go into all of it, but man, some of it's fucking dumb. Like real dumb shit. And then one was that the drivers won't use their APUs. Like my last truck, that was another thing at that company I worked for here. Not only was the truck fuck piece of dog shit, they didn't have an APU on it, man. And I was out in New York and shit, and I was supposed to be idling and all this and that and other thing. You know, fucking, it was a huge company, man. They're big and they're wealthy. They've been around a long time. They can afford fucking APUs. They just don't give a shit. But he was telling me some of the drivers, they just won't use their APU. They're just like totally against using their fucking APU. They're gonna idle the truck because that's how they've always done it. They've always idled the truck. Well, you know, when we first went to APUs, I gotta be honest, I had a little bit of trouble getting used to it myself because I got used to the vibration of the truck, believe it or not. And there was something therapeutical about that and soothing. Because when I would come off the road back in the day, I wouldn't sleep that well at home. I still don't. I sleep better in the truck. But there was something soothing about that, especially if you had a Freightliner, you know, because back in the day, that's why they called them freight shakers, because them fuckers shook like a son of a bitch. And when we went to the APUs, yeah, it took me a minute to get used to the truck not shaking. And then that loud ass thing, that I don't know why they don't put mufflers on those. I mean, you figure you got like a 4-cylinder Volkswagen or a Honda or whatever, fucker's quiet, right? Way bigger engine. But that little tiny engine, you can't put a muffler on that and quiet that fucker down? Why not? Because you don't give a fuck. Because you don't give a fuck about truckers. That's why you don't do it. It can be done. That'd be nice if they were muffled, wouldn't it? Yeah, so that's my thoughts on that one. And then I was sitting here looking at this fucking beautiful, nice, clean truck stop this morning. The waitress is like wiping down all the window cells and all this shit, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why are some truck stops, right, so nice and others are just completely fucking gross, garbage, nasty places, right? Fucking greed, man. Like, you take like a Flying J pilot, right, that say in Dallas or Memphis, that right by the Memphis Junction, there's a bunch right there, which are bad truck stops, by the way. You gotta be real careful in those ones right there outside of Memphis. Some of the worst right there, man. Trust me. You stay in your truck at night, but you go in there, there's garbage everywhere. Everything's all in disarray. The fuel pumps don't work. Fucking gross. You know, it's all junk, right? Now they're in fucking prime locations. They're pilot Flying J's. There's a line at the fuel island to even get fuel. They're making money, man. I mean, it's their fucking fuel they're selling, right? Then you're coming in and buying all the shit. They're busy. Then you'll go to one like this one, or there's some out in Wisconsin or whatnot. They're just kind of somewhat busy, and most of their patrons are like locals just coming in to get gas and stuff, right? But then they're nice and clean. Because they give a fuck. Because they actually give a fuck about their business. And the other companies are owned by some greedy cocksucker who's flying around and driving his yacht and got 4 houses and riding his fucking motorhome around, you know what I'm saying? They're so fucking rich. People like that are just so fucking greedy. They don't even care about the businesses that they own. You know, it's like some of these trucking companies are selling out to private equity firms. They don't care about trucking. They're just buying it for the money. And then it makes the company gross. And then all of a sudden, they can't keep drivers. And then their loads are late. And then they're losing contracts. And then all of a sudden, that company just ain't making the same amount of money it was when I bought it. That's because you're not running it worth the fuck, dude. The bottom line of a trucking company is right here, man. You can buy all these fucking trucks. As many as you want. But you ain't got some human being to drive that fucker? Ain't shit happening. You ain't got some human being to turn a wrench on the fucker? Ain't shit happening. You know what I'm saying? They run us out. Like I was saying in that one video about that place around here that had to switch their name because we all know who they are. They won't take long before, I mean, Grand Rapids ain't that big of an area. Even out to Muskegon and, you know, the whole surrounding area here. It won't take long for the word to get around who they are. I mean, the shit fucking travels fast. I did get me a leaf blower though to blow the trailer out. That's gonna be pretty awesome. I was over to my daughter's helping her. She's moving Saturday. I'm not gonna be around to help. So I was feeling bad about it, but her yard needed to be all mowed and shit before she moved. So I was like, I gotta go do something good here. So I went over there and cleaned it up. Pretty good. It was pretty bad. I didn't spend the whole day on it. But anyway, we got done and she had this, I don't know, I can't remember the name of it, but leaf blower and weed whipper, battery powered, you know. She paid like $285 for the set. And she goes, I'm just going to leave this crap here because I'm never getting a house again. I'm always getting an apartment. I'm not ever mowing a lawn. So when she was a kid, I owned a property maintenance company, a landscaping, snow removal type company. So my daughters would go out and help. And they weren't forced to, but they were kind of forced to. You know what I mean? It was like, you didn't really want to tell dad no. And I paid them. But my oldest daughter, she loved it. She'd take a truck and trailer and go out and do her own route. But my youngest daughter, yeah, she always fucking hated it. She's a school teacher. That ain't her gig. So she was going to leave that shit there. I go, why would you do that? At least you sell it or something. She goes, you want it? Fuck yeah, I want it. $285 worth of shit. I'll use the weed whipper when I get moved in the trailer park. But the leaf blower sitting over there on the floor because I'm straight up out of storage. I normally don't do that. I like to have all my shit in cabinets and like put away because I'm anal retentive. You know, there's a lot of room over there. I could stack shit on the floor. A couple of my friends have their passenger seats taken out so they can put little freezers and shit over there and dog beds and all that. But yeah, now I got that. I don't gotta sweep the trailer like the fucking Stone Age anymore, you know? I'm up to date, so I'm pretty happy about that. I was noticing when I was coming up out of Three Rivers and down that way the other day, fucking Walmart must be getting hard up for drivers, man. For shiz, because I've been seeing Walmart drivers doing some dumbass shit lately. And it used to be the Walmart drivers were the shit. For real, man. They were like, back in the day, fucking Walmart didn't hire you unless you had like some serious shit. But like even me, right? Like I'm 1.5 million probably, right? 1.25 million, 1.5 million miles. Old, been on the road a long time, right? Back in the day, now say 2 years ago, Walmart would have hired me, right? I would have been the criteria for a truck driver that they wanted. But see, now with all that bullshit on my PSP that I got from that fucking flying out and getting that truck, and then my job history, because I did a bunch of bouncing because I don't fucking stay at jobs. That's why I'm at this one now with this brand new truck and I'm getting paid and everything's good because I just kept going until I figured it out, right? They wouldn't hire me. I don't know, they'd probably hire me now, you know what I mean, because they seem to lower their standards. But they must be getting desperate, man, because I seen one like cut a car off, like just straight up, just like fucking car was like halfway up the trailer and he just got over and the car had to slam on the brakes. And then I seen one just pull right out in front of everybody, including me. And I get it in a rig, man. Sometimes there's busy intersections, like my storage unit's like that. I have to just stop traffic to get out. But when you do that, you know, you give them time. You look down the road, they're quite a ways away. So you realize when you're pulling out, you know, yeah, you're not going to be able to get out and get up to speed before they get up to you, right? They're going to have to slow down. But that's different than just pulling out and then they're like, fucking stopping to not run into the side of your trailer. That's a whole different game. And I seen one dude on that down there and some other shit, and I was like, God damn, Walmart's getting kind of shifty now. I didn't go there work. I thought it was gonna be cool. It was like $100,000 a year. It sounded good. But they had like, at that time they were slip seating your truck, so on your days off someone else was using your truck, like sleeping in the bed and everything. And then they didn't want you smoking in the truck. I'm like, fuck all that, I'm a trucker, dude. We need that many damn rules. They had a lot of rules, man. I don't know what they got going on now, but they had a lot of rules at the time, so I was like, fuck all that. But for y'all that are like struggling to get into a good place and lock down a good, job that you're comfortable with, making money and all that, to see the comments and the emails and shit, I feel for you, man. I've been there, like recently I've been there. You guys been watching my videos. What's it been, like a year and a half or something? Ever since I quit MDT, I've been just fucking bouncing around. Some of the companies I went to, some of y'all might have stayed at, they weren't that bad. Some of them I just got straight fucked, And then I finally, I don't know what, I saw one of these trucks and I was like, oh, I forgot about that place. So I started looking into it, and typically they're far away from where I'm at. But then I was like, yeah, I gotta go back there, right? I wasn't expecting a brand new truck. But, I'm good here. I think I'm good. I mean, I'm only on my fucking second week, but they would have had to change a lot because I worked for them for quite a few years, and I doubt they changed that much. And I'm pretty damn flexible right now because I don't want to go fucking eat shit no more. But I feel bad for you guys, man, you know what I mean? And girls. All I can say is just fucking, if you got like gaps in employment, so now you gotta take this shitty job to get back in the game, and get your time back in, just get that done, if you just can't find a place, just keep looking on Indeed and shit, and, trying them out, man. That's all you can really do. It sucks because you see it and it looks good, and then sometimes you go there, you quit the job you're in, and you go there and it's fucking worse than the one that you had. You're like, oh man, what the fuck? And it's a bitch, man. I feel it, dude. I feel it. I'm very thankful to be where I'm at right now, for real. This company here, they're pretty chill, so we'll be good. But in my career, I've had, 10 companies at least that I've worked for, and I've only found 3 that I'd recommend.